So I forgot to film an intro to this part 3, but figured my intro will be kind of an explanation of something you'll hear me mention later on. So if these tires look familiar, that's because these are the ones that I had stuck on there. I guess in the last video. They're the tires I had sitting around. Well, that was all fine and dandy until I went to balance them. So we'll take this tire as an example. If you look all the way around it, you know, you're not seeing any balancing weights. And if you look all the way around it, you see the same weight that was on there when I put this tire on, because I didn't take them off knowing it was going to get balanced. So that tells me they didn't touch that tire. But wait, there's more. So let me find it. Okay, well, here's another example. No, not that one. It's this one. So this tire, I had a strong suspicion that there was a reason I set it aside, because I'm not going to set aside a Michelin that's got deep tread like this, deep enough for no reason. Well, it turns out it's got a busted belt in it, so it's kind of egg-shaped, and makes the truck pretty well undrivable. And I started out running tire machines and doing tires, and did that when I first started out. The first thing I was taught was, when you have to put this much weight on one side of a tire, you need to look at maybe rim damage or tire damage, or break the bead and twist it so you don't have a heavy spot. Obviously, the crayon eater that did this doesn't know about that. Now, that's only 4 ounces. It had more on there, but I was pulling them off, and finally I just pulled the whole tire off. And it was the same on this. Usually, if you have to put that much weight on one spot, you need to try turning the wheel and then try again, and usually it's just you got a heavy spot on the rim and a heavy spot on the tire. These guys didn't do that. And then to add insult to injury, they aligned the truck. You'll hear me mention a couple times about how the handle's funny, and you'll notice the steering wheel's kind of cocked like that a little bit. Not as bad as it was on the first drive, but it's not straight. Well, like I said, I had them align it. Well, these are the specs of what it was when Southern Tire Mart got their hands on it. Now, normally I don't give out a name of a shop that does bad work, but the way this one went down, I'll give it to you. It's a place called Tire Tree. I used them because I can literally see their shop and hear them. They're like 75 yards from my house. I can walk there, drop a car off, and walk back. But like these specs, I know they're not terrible, but I mean, come on, I gave it to you to align, and this is the best you can do. And I know some people will be like, oh, well, the roads you took it down over there were pretty rough, but you have to remember, it was like this when it left. I just didn't have time to go take it back. And this is how they made it. So it tells me that they either didn't touch it, or maybe they played with it a little, and you know, I don't know. I called them, told them, hey, can you look at it, because the steering wheel's still crooked and it still tracks funny and it's cupping the tires. And as soon as I said that, he was like, oh, well, we're pretty full today, and well, we have a semi to do an alignment on, and semis are really hard to align, and that'll take most of the day. And I'm like, dude, come on, I work on semis. It doesn't take, you just set the toe, and if it needs anything more than that, you guys aren't able to do kingpins on a semi, so you know, don't give me that line. You're lying. So I went to Southern Tire, which, you know, they've done me good for years. I've known them for years over there. I've done business with them for years, but they're all the way across town. But they did me right. They only charged me $100 to balance and the alignment, versus this place over here charged me $200. And after their attitude, which I've never really liked their attitude, they act like you're a new customer every time, and I've been taking customer cars in there, which, you know, after seeing this scares me. Even though I drove them, it's like, did you leave something loose? So, you know, I guess it's like a blessing in disguise. Now I'll just haul all the cars to Southern Tire. and you know, I know it'll be done right. I trust them. They've never done me wrong, ever. And then this is, you know, me running a fleet of buses and taking buses to them. They've never, ever done me wrong. So, you know, the odds of them screwing up are pretty low. Versus this place down the street, the odds of them doing right are pretty low. So yeah, I could complain, I could do this and that, but not only did they lose a customer, they lost a customer that's taken them vehicles after vehicle after vehicle for alignment or tire balance. So yeah, losing one customer, it's like you lost 10 or 20 or who knows how much. So you're probably wondering, well, you probably went and bought a new set of tires, right? Wrong. I'll show you what I did. So some of you fellow tightwads might already know where this is going, because it'd be something you would do. So when I bought this a year ago, I bought it from my friend's dealer. He sells trailers and tractors. He put brand new 10-ply rated tires on here. Truck tires, not trailer. They were 10 or 12 ply. And what I did was, me being cheap, was I pulled them off the trailer and put them on the truck, because they're still like brand new. And I'm so hard on trailer tires, I couldn't bear to destroy a brand new tire. So what I usually do is, these are off previous trucks. When they get about 30-40%, I'll pull them off just for safety. You know, when you run through snow or mud or rain, I pull them off and they turn into trailer tires. And because I'm so hard on trailer tires, these won't make it till they're bald. So I'll either overload them to oblivion, they'll get some in them and I won't catch that's flat and tire will come apart. You know, stuff like that. They don't last. So there's nothing wrong with this. I mean, they're not dry rotted, they're not bald. And I know people are like, well, you have to run trailer rated, and no, the trailer rated, I don't know why people fall for that. These have more plies than the trailer rated. I don't blow these out like the trailer rated. Trailer rated might last me a trip or two, if that. And something with the weight and the flexing and my driving, they just blow out. Doesn't matter if they're brand new. So every trailer I have has light truck rated tires or more. But yeah, that's what I did. I wasn't gonna go spend $900 on a set of tires when I have a set of tires here that's gonna get destroyed at some point. So I probably have 4 pairs of tires for this, 4 sets, just of tires I've kept around. So this is the route we went because I'm cheap. I'll let you guys get to the video. It's a lot of driving, a lot of windshield time, a lot of me talking. And at the end, we'll kind of go over how the truck did. So hope you guys will stick around and enjoy it. Alright guys, so we're about 70 miles in and I don't know, 550 to go for the day. And so far this truck has just thoroughly impressed me. So like I have the other truck that's an 04, 6.0, 4L80, 410 gears. I mean, they're spec'd identical. And this truck, I haven't kicked off the cruise once, and it just climbs every hill. It feels a lot like my big block. Whereas the other one, I always joke that you get V6 performance with 454 fuel economy, because it only gets 8.2, 8.9, and it's just a total absolute dog. You can't even run the cruise control. But this truck, I mean, hadn't kicked down a gear, nothing. It's just going. Like right now we're cruising 80 and it doesn't care. So what I've noticed so far, my observations, because this truck's Maiden Voyage, is that turn the cruise back on, is the oil pressure a little lower than what I want to see. Temperature runs good. It needs a transmission cooler because it runs a little bit hotter than what I like to see. And sometimes you get a whiff of like burning transmission fluid, some coolant, but I think a lot of that when I washed it yesterday. We're in New Mexico now. Anyway, I think it's from when I washed it. A lot of that stuff got on the manifold, and I pretty well just disturbed that big casing of oil I had all over the side of the engine. I'm assuming that steering box had been leaking for quite a long time, because I see where they replaced the pump once, the hoses, and I guess no one ever thought to look at the steering box. But yeah, so far so good. I hope the whole trip goes like this. It means I can put this section with the other video and not make its own video. But we'll stop here in about another 70 miles. There's a rest area up here. Do a walk around, make sure nothing's spewing out of here. And then we'll go, there's a couple of big grades, we'll see how it does on them. So far so good. Tires look all right. I don't see anything leaking. And the smells are going away. So that's always a good sign. Yeah, there's a story as to why this thing has new tires. It's already starting its deal with the soot, but that's okay. Always check that when I stop somewhere. Tires are all good, so I think we're good. Really nice view out here. So we're gonna continue on. It's 9 o'clock and it's like 85 degrees already. It's supposed to be 100 and something today. And when I come back, I'll be loaded in that, so it'll be fun, I guess. So I'm going through Santa Rosa, New Mexico right now. And we're about to hit our first actual, what I call a big pull. So far this thing's staying in check, doesn't get hot. It's downshifted one time up a hill, which I thought was pretty impressive. I don't have to kick the cruise off up every little incline like the other truck. I'm pretty sure this thing's got some kind of ECM tune in it, because it's getting unreal fuel economy. And because the cats are knocked out, it should have a catalyst efficiency code, and there's no code. And you know, now I think about it, I just forgot to bring my code reader and the laptop, which, I mean, I don't think I'll need it because this truck can't set itself in limp mode like the ones with electronic throttle do, but I don't like driving with the light on and not knowing what it is. But anyway, yeah, if it was gonna throw it, it should have thrown it by now, and it hasn't thrown it, so that tells me someone's been in there playing around. And also the security light doesn't come on in the little message center when you cycle the key on. So I'll be willing to bet that, yeah, they turned off the VATs and turned off some of the codes, if not tuned it, which is fine with me. I think it runs awesome. It runs way better than the Black Bear tunes. And nothing against Black Bear tunes, but I've had one blow up an engine, and then the second one, it had no power, and then the third one, it just, I don't know, I wasn't happy with its performance. It shifted too hard. Didn't seem to really make a difference, but, you know, the third one was on my other truck, which I don't know what's wrong with that one. I'm about to cut the catalytic converters out and see if that's what's wrong. It's got one that's melted. So I figured I'd just let you guys kind of hang out, because we're about to go up that hill. Because we have this one, and then the one when you're coming into Albuquerque. But that one, to me, going through the canyon or whatever, that's not that big of a deal, because it's steeper coming the other way. Because you're in the middle of Albuquerque when you start climbing to go up the pass. Did have a car behind me, I'm doing 80, but it's the Texans. They're known over here for not being good drivers. You see someone driving bad, chances are there's a Texas tag on it. I try my best not to fit into that group. So we're starting to climb, but we're not there yet. Chances are this little car is going to get its ass kicked climbing this hill. And like I said, this isn't like Eisenhower trying to climb that or anything. Oh, Utah tags. But, you know, it's the first big climb since leaving East Albuquerque, or I mean Amarillo. They're the same thing. We both have shootings in our Walmart parking lot. I think we got one up on Albuquerque. I think someone tried to kill his girlfriend in Walmart, and it was a hostage situation, and yeah, one's like the big brother to the other. They're pretty well the same. Probably why I'm not fazed by this city, because it's the same as Amarillo. It just has more stuff. So we're coming up to it now. Mr. Cummins' boy's gonna show off like a Cummins boy does. I used to run them, the 12 valves, and then the common rails were junk. They like to melt pistons. And then you came with the emission stuff, but the engine got better, but I'm not gonna do emissions and mess with the delete and all that. So now that the 12 valves are worn out, you know, it's off to the gas engines now. Super Duty 6.2s. So I'm not even to the floor, I'm just easing up the hill. The other truck, when this configuration, before I put the service bed on, if I didn't hit the bottom of that hill about 95, I would be doing about 55 up here. 50, 55, 4,200 RPM or whatever third gear, second gear was. And this thing just climbs. I'm thrilled with this. Then we got one more little jump up and we've made it. So I survived the first big hill, and like I said, this thing is just impressive. I love it. My favorite truck so far. So I don't know if you can see it, but when you come over this mountain, it kind of looks like one of those scenes in the movie Cars. I always thought that was pretty cool because you can see all the way for miles back up there. And if you're wondering why I'm driving in the middle of the road, this road is destroyed. Like, you can't, well, like you saw a minute ago, the shaking. I mean, I'm like flying out of my seat over here. They didn't show that in the movie Cars. But they've done wonders on this road. It was worse 8 months ago. It was, you'd have to drive like in the middle or straddle the shoulder. But yeah, I figured I'd show you because I come over that hill and I always think about one of those scenes. I know it's not the same place. I know that one scene, I'm pretty sure it's in Arizona or the other side of Albuquerque on the west side of this New Mexico. But yeah, I thought it was neat. I don't know if you'll see it in the video. I'll leave it in anyway, but it's pretty neat. If you drive this road enough and watch that movie, which I've watched it a few times, it's cool seeing the similarities between real life and the movie because they did a really good job copying the old 66, which is pretty well what we're following. So I figure I'll point out something else that's kind of interesting. It'll zoom. So you see these billboards for this place. I used to think they were pretty dumb because I don't know if you can see, but they're spanned all the way for like the next 5 miles down there. And I used to think it was dumb, and I'm like, you know, the people that were excited by that, it's like 3 generations ago, not now. And then it dawned on me that, you know, it's Route 66, so I guess they're kind of trying to like reminisce, make it like the old days. So, not so dumb, I guess. But, you know, back in the day, I could see, you know, I'm talking 50s, 60s, 40s. I could see, you know, you getting excited about that because you've been in a car, it's 2-lane. I worked with old guys that used to run this in a semi back when it was Route 66, and they said it was brutal. They said it sucked. It's not the fun and games and nostalgia like you have, like you hear now. They said it, their words were, it fucking sucked. But anyway, so yeah, I thought that was, it finally dawned on me after a while. Maybe we'll get some more shots of it. The closer we get to this place, the more billboards they are. Here's another one. I don't remember what it's called. I call it, oh, it's called Flying Sea Ranch, I think, but I renamed it fucking A Ranch because I got tired of seeing the billboards. But yeah, like I said, I used to think it was really dumb, but now I was like, well, okay, I get it now. Trying to be like Route 66, which is cool. I still want to do it start to finish. I've done most of 66 bits and pieces at a time, but I think it'd be fun start to finish, and like that Transit or something vintage. And yeah, I mean, this thing's getting after it still. I'm just barely feathering the throttle. Got my sick buddy, whatever. He's getting after it pretty well. He's loaded, he'll slow down up the hills. But we get down to the other side of the hill and he's flat flying. Fan kicked on. Nothing's running hot, but you can sure tell it's got the factory transmission cooler. I got some kind of driveline wine. I don't know what it is. It's actually going away, so maybe by the time I get home it'll be gone. And yeah, we're gonna see a lot more of that later in the heat. These guys, for some reason, I don't know if they don't maintain their trucks or what it is. Yeah, here we go. Like I said, you get closer, the billboards start more and more and more. And I always like to see what was on those billboards back in the day, because the wind will peel off this stuff, and that's when you get all this old stuff on there. But yeah, both sides of the highway. And it looks like something real extravagant. So I get more. It's kind of, I guess they're trying to copy that wall drug that's in one of the Dakotas. I don't know which. I always thought it was a scam, but whatever. This can get away with it because it's on I-40. The other one, no one cares about. I guess that's 70 or I-70, I-80. But yeah, see, they get more and more. Both sides, and you're expecting just something huge. And I know I sound like a broken record, but when I'm driving and trying to record, you know, it's just, I'm a guy, we got one track minds. You do anything more than one thing at a time and you start getting smoke out of your ears for us guys. Almost there. 1 mile, I guess that's like 30 seconds. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I guess this generation doesn't get into it because they're on their phones. We're all cruising by at 80 miles an hour. And there's nothing there you couldn't buy off Amazon or whatever. And yeah, so that's what it is. It's just a little truck parking place. I'll give them credit though, they tried. But this place really isn't full. I guess it doesn't have the effect on it now like it used to. And same with Client's Corners up the road, which I'll show you that, because last couple times I've been by it, it's been like empty. And it's, you know, summer traveling season. We're in the first week of June. There's the big hill we're climbing. You go damn near straight up, and then you hook a left. And the last time, well, was it last week? Might have been the week before when I hauled the tractor up here. I don't know, I come over here like every week now, but that, I was climbing that at, I think it was 35 miles an hour at whatever 5,000 or 5,500 RPM in second gear is, that's what it was climbing it at. It's a pretty steep hill. My car, you start at the bottom 85 miles an hour with your foot to the floor, and it sounds like an RC car that's batteries are dying, because it gets about halfway up that hill and it runs out of steam, and the speed just drops like a rock. But I forgot about this hill. I guess you guys get some POV, whatever they call that driving. People like watching it. I like watching it too. Sometimes it's cool seeing places you've been or places you've never been, seeing the scenery through, I guess, the lens, someone else's lens. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Yeah, there's a truck behind me now, but he ain't gonna about 300 yards. And no, these aren't like Rocky Mountain grades, but for what we're used to and we have, this is the biggest we have. So we're starting at about 76. And I don't like letting them downshift up the hill. It's just, if I can crawl up the hill and without downshifting, great. You always got one window licker that's got to ruin it for everybody. He's just gonna pull out in front. Oh, no. Okay, I take that back. He's an alright guy. $65. Man, I'm impressed with this truck. This thing's got to have a tune. Because we're 2100 RPM, about 64, 63. We didn't downshift. Well, you can see someone blew a radiator hose or blew something up, got oil on the ground. That was an expensive day for someone. I hope that's not us later, because like I said, this is the easy bit. It's nice and, well, it's cool for the day, and we're empty. We're going to be coming back in triple digit heat. I'll tell you what, this cute little truck sure impresses me. I'm impressed so far. So we're coming up on the famous Klein's Corners. At least everyone that travels I-40, Old 66, knows about this place. And I thought it was interesting because, you know, I figured there'd be more tourists because, you know, it used to be a big thing as your kid. Oh, Klein's Corners, you know. It was like the stop in the middle of nowhere. Which, I mean, I guess this is the middle of nowhere still, but what the hell is this guy doing? Damn near took out my trailer. Anyway. So yeah, for being traveling season, there's not much activity there. Could be because their gas is $1 a gallon higher, or it was damn near $1 a gallon higher last time I was there, which was about 3 weeks ago. But I thought that was interesting. You know, the place used to be full, and it's not full anymore. Maybe it's a sign of the times, or no one's traveling like they are usually by this time of year. I don't know. But, you know, I figured it'd be kind of neat to point that out, because it's something I noticed. This road's really rough. So I'm out, I don't know, 45 minutes, an hour out. I got 2 pickups I gotta make, then I'm gonna get lunch, and then time to head home, and we'll see what this truck does when it's actually got to work hard. If you call that hard, it's not a big load, but it's more than an empty trailer, that's for sure. This is why we stop and check stuff. That is, there's my brethren hitting their rumble strips. So yeah, that's from my fuel pump. I'll just hang you down over here because I didn't bring zip ties. This is our first trip. Pump's going. Let's see how much fuel we have. I don't know if you can see in there. I think we're about empty. We still pumping? No. All right, well that tank's empty. Everything looks good. I'm gonna call that a win. Don't worry about that. All right. So probably won't see you until we're loaded. So we're coming into Moriarty now. And fun fact, George Strait originally had his song named after this town. I think it was Moriarty by Morning. And then he met the chick I was dating here, and he was like, oh, hell no. And I think he burned up some pencil erasers trying to change the lyrics, so then it was Amarillo by Morning. And then the rest is history. No, not really. Actually, I was going to see if I could pick up the, it's a guy's collection Guy's like 80 or 90 years old. And then I guess his daughter decided, you know, so many people coming and wanting to see his car and truck collection that they charge $5 and you can walk around the place. And I'll try to put in some pictures because I was just here, I don't remember, a few months ago. But anyway, it's really cool. He has cars and stuff, but I don't know, I like semis. He's got a lot of antique semis in there. And then his son next door, I guess, restores them and has a trucking company. He's got more semis. I don't know if you guys can see. There's some of it. And up inside that fence, you can walk around there. They don't want you touching stuff. And I didn't want to put it on YouTube because then you got people that want to tag stuff and put their stupid stickers on shit. They can't just go in there, look at it, respect it, and leave. They always got to fuck up shit. But I don't know, I figured, you know, kind of show the world. I know Vice Grip Garage went in there not very long ago, and I think he's the only person I've seen. I've seen a lot of guys on YouTube like, oh, we're doing Route 66, and they drive right past the place. They go to the Whitling Brothers thing, and I was like, well, that's cool and all, but you're like driving right past the cool place. And that guy in there, he's really cool. Might stop by on the way back, I don't know, it depends what time it is and how tired I am. But figured you guys would like the trivia and the museum. I think it's called Lewis Toy Museum or something. He's got a big toy collection of vintage toys too inside. Super cool people, really cool little, I guess, museum collection thing. So anyway, I'm gonna focus on driving. Like I said, once I get loaded, I might show you what we're picking up after I'm loaded. So kind of just a sneak peek. This is what we're climbing out of, loaded when we come out of here. And on the radio, they're acting like it's the end of the world, so I guess it doesn't get that hot here. I've only spent time here in the winter, and you know, you'd come, I call this the mountain. You go up the other way up there where I was staying, and it was like really depressing because you could be down here. And I remember one weekend especially is where I made my decision about I don't like this kind of weather anymore. It was like 25, snowing off and on up here. Get down here in the town, and let me back up. Up there is 25 up on top of the mountain on the other side. They call it East Mountain. And at home, that weekend, I think they had a high of like 3 degrees, and then it was 10 below, 5 below. It was a real bad cold spell. And what sealed the deal for me was I remember eating dinner and hanging out down here in Albuquerque, and it was 58 degrees. I had my short sleeve on. It was nice and sunny, and you could look up over here on the mountain and you could see dark clouds, and just, it was just depressing knowing that, oh, well, I got to go back into that. And then in the winter, this is demolition derby through here. I think they should have the chain law. You got to chain up to go up and down this because, yeah, it's not bad, but most people don't know how to drive on a dry weather. It's usually these semis, these CDL mill guys. But I don't know. I mean, I like it in the summer up here, but you know, I grew up in the Panhandle. Tornadoes, heavy snow, hail, high winds. I'm tired of it. Give me the desert any day of the week. Yeah, I know they have high winds here and their issues, but I love the desert. This truck hasn't left town since 2007. This is its first trip out of here. So for a truck that was in that bad a shape, mechanically, I guess mechanically it's not terrible. I'll say that when we make it home, but for a truck that hadn't left town and it's about to do a 600-mile plus trip, I mean, with a trailer, on the hottest day of the first hottest day of the summer, or whatever this is. Yeah, that's why I'm kind of documenting it, because it could go really wrong or it could go uneventful. I'm hoping for the latter. So this is how these people, I think, raise their population. They'll try to shake your truck to death in hopes that it falls apart and you won't make it to the other side. I think that's the plan here. I think one of the other lanes is better, I don't remember. I have to get over here in a couple miles, so I just stick it out. But yeah, I think Oklahoma City is the same way. But they have it on when you're leaving town. You rattle everything apart in hopes that you have to come back and spend money with them. But I think the goal here is to rattle your shit apart so you don't leave. Just figured I'd show you that little tidbit of info. So here's the land of nice weather, the desert. I don't think it snows much here, to my knowledge. And by snow, I mean like 1.5 feet and everything's shut down and school's canceled and oh my God, it's the end of the world. I don't think they have that here, thankfully. These drivers do kind of suck. It's like, get the hell out of the fast lane, slow lane, whatever. Noticed my first Kia, I hadn't seen one of them. You don't see many of them here. They're not rampant like back home. But it's got all the stickers going on and it still can't climb the hill worth a damn. But I'm coming up on my exit. But I thought I'd show you guys the view. I love the view here. Love the desert. This is a good compromise between, you know, here and like Phoenix, Tucson. I got the desert, but I'm close to home still, so kind of why I like it. Something different. So I'll figure out where I get off and where I'm going, and eventually you'll see me loaded someday. So I'm not sure what you guys can see or hear, but we're doing about 70, and I'm just gonna leave it up there. We can see how well this thing climbs. We're already going uphill. I just drove across Albuquerque, stoplight to stoplight down. I don't remember what street that was, San Mateo. Pretty well just crossed the length of it, stoplight to stoplight. Just downshifted a gear. I am loaded now, so we'll see how this thing handles it. There's lockup. So third lockup, doing 2,800 at 65. Everything's nice and cool. So we're just gonna see how this thing takes it. Didn't work. So I'm just gonna ease it up the hill, see how it goes. I don't think you can see what we have back there. I probably should have just left it in third because it doesn't have enough torque. I don't know what the temperature is, but the other truck will climb this. Trying to think, loaded it'll do about 50, and that's second gear, you know, giving it what it's got. So far we're doing better than that. Just my thing with this is I don't want to leave it in drive and let it shift up and down because I don't know how good this transmission is. But I think we probably have, I don't know, 3,000 pounds on the trailer at max. So it's not like it's heavy. But if it'll beat 55, unlike the last truck, I think we'll be doing pretty good. But I mean, I'm not even to the floor, and we're not even to the steep part. So like on these leveler parts, if it wants to start taking off, I let it take off because it seems to want to sit at like 65, which I guess is a speed limit. When I'm empty, I'm usually in the fast lane, just foot to the floor, seeing how fast I can climb the hill, canyon, whatever they call it. But I've never climbed this hill in this kind of heat, so, you know, that's another thing too. But nonetheless, this thing is impressed me so far. Just trying to get you guys the temperature. Got a phone in each hand. So right now it's 95. And it's 1 o'clock mountain time. I got out of here just in time before the heat came. Yeah, I ended up going by the VA, the Air Force Base, all that good stuff. Because I originally wanted Chick-fil-A. There's nowhere to park at Chick-fil-A. And I was like, oh, well, I can just go across. And yeah, that was a bad idea. Could have gone without going by the Air Force Base or the VA. Should have just gone back and hit the highway, and life would have been good. So we're just holding speed limit. I'll say it again, I don't like how warm that transmission runs. Passing our first victim. I don't know if we have the wind pushing us today. I think we do. One of these little, I think maybe it's this road where you exit. You go off that way, and it's a real windy, mountainous, well, you consider these mountains, real windy road up and down. It's a lot of fun. And then you can cut across at the land grant, which that's an interesting place too. Not saying interesting as that it's bad, interesting as, like, I think there's been people there since the 1500s or earlier. Pretty neat deal. I turned the cruise on because my foot's falling asleep. Another interesting thing, the ABS lights and everything went off. I don't know if that's good or bad. Maybe this thing just needed to get out on the road and drive. Now, I kept smelling like a ATF, transmission fluid, when I'd be at the front of the truck, but nothing's leaking. So I just figured, just keep on rolling. There's old 66 next to us. So I think this is 4%, but I'm not for sure. But this truck doesn't seem to care. It's just crawling along. I might be 30% throttle. Like, it's not so loaded down that I lose speed. But it doesn't have enough power to tow itself in overdrive. going 70. Transmission temp's a little hotter than I like to see. But once we lock it into overdrive and get on level ground, it'll come back down. Getting passed by a Lesbaru. Drove one of them once. It was interesting. It's like literally like trying to drive an appliance. It just goes down the road and it's just bland. I mean, I guess they're good here if you live up here because of the snow, but I wouldn't want one. Stick to my pickups. I don't know if that's the same truck from earlier or that's a different one, but you see them scattered all up and down this pass. Oh, the wrong truck, I'd offer my assistance. But the problem with semis is you gotta expect them not to pay and be happy if they do pay. I think this is one of the final climbs. Slowing down a little bit. We got 266 to go. I smell things, but I don't see smoke. There goes that bike. I smell burning oil. No, I don't. I don't know. I'm not a bike guy. I can ride them. They're fun to ride, but I don't get into them. I love my four wheels underneath me and stability. So, too bad you can't smell, because somebody's engine smells like it's coming apart, and I don't think it's mine. We'll see. And now we're doing 62. I got a little Ram thing behind me. He must be pushing a hole through his floorboard to get past me. This guy needs to get over. Fucking take you out, dude. Dumbass. I know what it is. It's like that thing's probably in meltdown mode and they're scared. And they're like, oh no, it's gonna blow up. Hey, I passed them leaving Amarillo. But anyway, yeah, that thing's probably in meltdown. They get scared, it's gonna explode, and they panic, and all the next thing you know is they can't function anymore. When your shit's coming apart, you gotta stay calm and focused, not just freaked out. We're almost to the top. Really, dude? Hired hand. I see those little vans all over, and I don't know if it's the same van that I keep seeing, but I see one like that coming Dallas to Amarillo every trip down there. And the guy just can't get his driving together. He's not a pro driver. So we made it. Topped that 70. We didn't blow up. So when we stop again, I'll show you what's on the trailer, because like I said, it's not hard, but you know, that's a hard pull for a truck that's never left flatlands in 15, 16 years. Hell, it's never left town in 16 years. So I'm gonna eat lunch. That stuff's the best. It's like chicken fried steak in finger form. Not like your steak fingers from Dairy Queen. So anyway, I'll catch you here in a little bit. Hopefully it's uneventful. So another cool tidbit is this hill right here. There's a video about Route 66 that they filmed in '85, I believe. And at the bottom of this hill about here, maybe a little further back, they show a scene where there's, and I couldn't tell what it was, a 60s station wagon had tumbled down the hill there. I guess he couldn't navigate the curve. And every time I go through there, I think about that scene in that documentary. Because it's kind of neat how the cars and stuff have changed, but the road and all of that just remains the same. It's kind of neat. I also thought this truck had some real worn out springs because it kind of squirms, real wiggly or loose feeling. And then I remembered I don't have a sway bar like the other truck, so I guess that makes all the difference. What we got here, looks like my competition doing tires. He can do all the tires he wants. I'm burned out on tires. To me, I could be wrong, but tires don't really pay enough. But anyway, yeah, I figured I'd show you guys that little tidbit. We are 384 miles in, and so far so good. So I'll keep you guys updated. About 450 miles in, and my lifter noise is about stopped. I need to reseal this. It's leaking on the ground. Probably because the tank expanded in the heat. This thing's still clean and clear. It kind of quit smoking. So here's what we're hauling. Got an engine for my little Echo because I've got to do a clutch, and if I'm going to do a clutch, I'm going to do the transmission too, which whines. So I figured why not just get the whole thing. Got an Isuzu diesel. I don't know if it runs. There's a story with that. The guy that loaded me says the guy that sold it, and he said that it had no starter and he parted out the truck. I don't know. We'll find out. That'll be a video. Will it start? And then we got this. It's supposed to be a transmission. Whether or not that's in there, I don't know. But yeah, that's everything. Like I said, not super heavy, but it does kind of grab the wind a little. So we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. And I guess the next stop should be Amarillo. I was pretty close. I just guessed when I said 450, and we're at 458. Shows how many times I've done this trip. I think I've done this month. I've done it 3 weeks in a row, or I guess last month. It's turned into a weekly deal, which is okay with me. I don't mind the trip. I think it beats going to Dallas Fort Worth. It's not humid, don't have the traffic, and I don't have all the stoplights at every single little town. You just get on I-40 and go. Pays the bills. It costs a lot in fuel. Like, I got the auxiliary chain trying to keep it from overflowing. But it pays the bills even with gas, so I'm not gonna complain. I like going out there. So we're gonna get on the highway and head back to Amarillo. Right now we're, I don't know, 50 miles from the Texas state line. Something like that. I haven't pinned it down quite perfect yet. So I guess the part we've been waiting for. Just left New Mexico and we're in Texas now. Usually there's a bunch of people, especially in the summertime, but year round you'll see people taking pictures with the Welcome to Texas sign. I'm guessing they're travelers. But you can even see, I mean, they made their own little parking spot and everything. Always taking pictures with that sign. So I think we're about, oh, I'm just playing with the phone now. I think we're about an hour away from East Albuquerque or Amarillo. They're about the damn same. Only thing though, I saw something that I hadn't seen in Amarillo. There was a guy in the bathroom at that Maverick I stopped at, and whatever gang he's affiliated with, he must be related to somebody because he's not a bright cookie. He proceeded to stick his hand in his stream while he was going to the bathroom, and then with his wet fingers put his gang tag up on the wall. I was like, I thought I've seen it all, and then I saw that, and I'm like, nope, something new I've never seen before. So I don't know if they let him in the gang to feel sorry for him, or I don't know, but you know, his elevator didn't go to the top, that's for sure. I don't know what state of mind you are to do that, but whatever. I thought it was funny. He made my day, so maybe, you know, maybe he's spreading joy. So yeah. Next thing is we climb that, and then after that we're pretty well home free. Then it can blow up. It's not a big deal at that point. But I think it's going to be all right. It's getting really good fuel mileage. Oil pressure stayed the same. The only thing I don't like is the trans temperature, but again, it still has the factory cooler, like I've said probably 100 times by now. Now we start the climb. It's a lot steeper than it looks, and this is a living hell when it snows, because just like going through the canyon outside of Albuquerque, these guys, I guess the flip-floppers, they don't know how to drive in this, and they always wreck. The last wreck I saw, well, I worked for the state, they were into the snowplow coming up this hill. And the guy running the snowplow said he was about up here a little bit. And you could see the truck in the back just, he said he's doing every bit of 55 through the snow, and it was like 20, 30 mile an hour road conditions. And he just ran right into the back of the snowplow. And he was like, oh yeah, I had my cruise control on, I wasn't paying attention. That was the guy's excuse for running into the back of a snowplow. So yeah, occasionally they do the opposite. Instead of going too slow and getting stuck, they come flying through here. But this is the thing we saw about, well, you saw that like maybe 5 minutes ago, but for the past 30 minutes, that's what we've been seeing. And you climb it, basically like driving up to the top of an upside down dog ditch that's like laying in the middle of your yard. The truck it ran better on the way down, even though it was empty, because it had regular unleaded. And where I saw Mr. Gangbanger dude, I put Eco 88, which is like 15 or 20% ethanol. And this truck doesn't quite like that, apparently. Because I'm about 3/4 throttle, and it's just not having it. But we're doing better than him. Like Power Stroke Boy ain't stroking no more. I don't have enough tools to assist him, or I'd help the guy, but yep, 3/4 throttle. And right when I was about to say, I like the fact it doesn't downshift so easy. It downshifts, but that's okay. I mean, this thing, like you saw, it's really got to like drop to nothing for it to downshift. I do smell transmission fluid again. I don't know. Nothing's leaking. I don't know what it is. It might not even be us. It might be one of these trucks too. But here's another casualty of the hill. I think. Maybe not. But yeah, so from here all the way till, I don't know, maybe a half hour east of Amarillo, it's totally flat. Way flat, like you can see, you probably see 6 to 8 miles in every direction. So in my videos, when you see, you know, it's really flat, that's because we're on top of this big cap. So anyway, my arm's getting tired of holding this phone. I didn't bring a mount, and besides, it's so rough and bouncy in here. You couldn't, all you'd see would be this anyway. So we'll bring you back when I get close to home or get home, and we'll kind of look the truck over and see how it fared. Its first major trip. Oh yeah, so one last, I guess, point of interest, because after this it's pretty well boring, except for the Cadillac Ranch, but I used to drive by that thing literally 4 or 5 times a day, so it's nothing special. But up here on your left, and I'll show you when we get closer, but this is the midpoint of Route 66. So from here west, we're closer to LA than we are in about another half mile. So I don't know if you can see. If you see where those trees are, there's a restaurant and a hotel there. And directly in front of it, and the road is old 66 right in front of it. And right in front of the hotel is a midpoint. There's like a little, I don't know, they have a stripe in the road, it says Route 66. All that good stuff. Yeah, so if you see the hotel, right behind that is the midpoint. So now we've passed the midpoint, now we're closer to Chicago than we are LA. Kind of figured, you know, point that out, because there's a lot of, for some reason, nobody knows that. I don't know why no one goes through there. But the cafe is really good, and I know the people that own the hotel and the cook at the place, if she's still doing it. Really cool place, really good people. I need to eat there again because it's really good food too. But and then flow off of cars, that's where they got the idea from, that cafe, because it's been open since the 40s. But it's a different lady that owns it now. Passed that guy earlier. I thought he's the guy that flipped. I came across a wreck. It happened when I was filming, showing you what was on the trailer. I guess they had passed me again after I passed them, and then they made it about 5 miles up the road and put it on its lid, I guess. I'll show you pictures. It's kind of blurry, but it's better than nothing. So I thought it was that truck I just passed, but I guess it wasn't. But anyway, nothing of interest now, so we'll come back once I finally get home, which is maybe another 30 minutes. So there's Cadillac Ranch, full as always. Like I said, it's kind of neat, but I've seen it so many times, it's just kind of like these weeds in the road, you know, they're just part of the scenery. But I know a lot of people, like this last service call I went to, they're from the Netherlands, and this was their next stop, was Cadillac Ranch. It was on their to-do list. So it's pretty neat how many people from all over the place show up there. And that place, rain or shine or snow, it's always busy. So we're gonna exit here, and I'm like 10 minutes from home. In case anyone wonders why I gripe about the weather here, this is why. It's dry pretty well everywhere else but here, which interrupts me from doing stuff. As you can see, that's a pretty nasty storm, and it's heading our way. There we go, focus. So I got it unloaded, and I'll kind of show you guys as we go along, you know, what we have. But, you know, those two engines sat undisturbed, got a little bit of sand on them, and now they're gonna get rained on, and dirt and everything, because it's blowing like 40 miles an hour downdraft. So yeah, I gripe and I get irritated, and this is why I don't like this weather. It's depressing, for one, and two, it puts a halt to anything I want to do. And this thing right here, that's the one heading our way. So we'll go over this thing tomorrow. I did check the oil and it was okay. Like, I think I've driven this. So today was, let me clean this lens off for you guys. So today was 608 miles. That was the round trip today. So I just realized I never kind of did an outro to this video and let you know how this truck did. should probably turn the radio down before the YouTube gods strike me dead. So anyway, we're about 30 minutes north of Lubbock, Texas. That would be the biggest town that anyone would know. And currently, the truck has gone almost 1,450 miles since the start of this. And I don't believe it's been a week yet. Let me look. Every day is another day to me, so I don't really know what day it is. So it is June 12th. And it was the 6th on the last clip you saw. And in case you're wondering, not all of us in Texas listen to country music. You're not going to find it in any of my vehicles. But anyway, yeah, so this truck hasn't really done anything different from the time we left at the start of the video, which was 1,448 miles ago. And I don't think it's been stopped for more than 12 hours at a time before it's up and running on the road again. And I'm just thoroughly impressed with this truck. I'm not thoroughly impressed with the people that sit here and just like ride next to me. These people are annoying, but we're near Amarillo, so these must be Amarillo drivers trying to get somewhere because they suck at driving. It's your run-of-the-mill, stereotypical Altima. So that explains its driving, lack of driving. Anyway, so this truck has been flawless for the whole 1,400 miles. I got my money's worth out of this truck because, to be honest with you, I have, after repairs and everything, I might have 2,700, 2,800 in this truck. So yeah, that's a hell of a deal right there. So I hope you guys have made this a drinking game by now, because some of the things I know it needs for sure is it's going to need a transmission cooler. Right now it's running cool, but we're going to a headwind and I'm not heavy. And we're on flat ground. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put a True Cool 40K transmission cooler in it. And I think I'll make a video of all the upgrades to do to this, because once I do all that, this truck should be set and ready to roll. Another thing I don't like is the oil pressure. It's kind of on the low side for these, because I know it's not so worn out that that's the oil pressure, and it's got all that lifter tick. So the O-rings go bad on the pickup tube and it'll start to aerate the oil, and you'll notice it in the lifters firsthand. So, you know, again, not a big deal. It's a two-wheel drive. That's a job I can have knocked out usually in about an hour. I might try to do it, you know, on the ground and not on my friend's lift for once, just to see how easy or how hard it is to do one on the ground. But they're easy. I'm gonna go through, change all the fluids. The only flaw I've noticed is when it downshifts, or when you go to upshift, it's normally when the transmission's cold still. It probably needs the fluid flushed out of it. From third to fourth, it has a little bit of a flare, kind of a delay shift where it kind of hangs and then engages. But it's only done it when it's cold. And I'm gonna, you know, drain it, refill, drain, refill until we get it all cleaned out. Maybe see if that helps it. I know they say if you change the fluid, you're gonna destroy the transmission, but in my book, if changing the fluid makes the transmission go out, then you had problems already, and changing the fluid wasn't going to help or hurt it in any way. It was going to go out regardless. So, but other than that, I mean, we got the alignment done. It steers totally straight. We got Tesla Autopilot going right now. Cruise control, just driving straight. So big shout out to Southern Tire. Those guys have always treated me well. Good bunch of people over there in Amarillo. So, and I never did explain to you what caused me to, why would I run a Raggedy truck like this and build it up? And it's kind of a complicated answer. So, I have my business, I've had it for a year, and just recently, within the past month, it's dawned on me that, and we'll back up, and I love business. I took every business class in high school. I tried to take some in college, but I just wasn't really engaged in college. I had real bad ADHD, and I bailed out of college to go drive a truck, and I would literally drive that truck. And I have paperwork, 8, 7, 9, 10,000 miles in a 7-day period. Truck never stopped running, multiple logbooks, and it was like an outlet for my ADHD. So, yeah, I probably would have been pretty good in college if I hadn't gotten that out of underhand. But whatever. So, I like business, and I wanted to grow the service, the repair business, but then after these experiences with, like, my friend, he can't find anyone that can fix their ride to get to work, but yet they're a heavy equipment mechanic. Or another friend of mine that's got the dealership, he's had to resort to hiring high school kids because they really want to get their foot in the door, and it's like a passion for them to work on stuff. So he'll hire them, like work program. They'll work in his dealership in the shop alongside a couple of the other guys that are real good, which I think are family members. And if they're really passionate about it, he'll pay for their schooling and put them through diesel school, which is a really good deal, I think. I mean, hell of a guy to do something like that. And then the experiences I've seen with these real shitty shops, I mean, I couldn't send, there's been a couple instances, I can't send somebody to go work on some of this stuff because they wouldn't have a clue how to work on it. What are you doing, dumbass? But anyway, yeah, I couldn't trust them to send them out on a job and have them even complete it, much less complete it correctly. So I went to Plan B, some other business ideas I had in my head, and it's going to require me to buy 2 semis at the minimum. And we're going to buy semis kind of like we bought this. Something that needs an in-frame or some kind of major work. Do it ourselves so we know it's done right, and when it hits the road, it's going to run and not have major catastrophe. And no, I'm not going trucking. The days of going trucking, those are behind me. I don't ever want to go over the road, ever again. And that's a whole nother story, but I was so close to doing it with a cab full of animals that once I pulled my head out of my ass, I was like, oh hell no, we're never, ever going trucking again. So these will be like local-ish trucks. They'll have drivers in them, and I'm not setting foot in them unless someone's sick. And even at that, you know, I'm not straying far from home. I'll be within, I don't know, 100 miles of home, 50 miles from home. If I'm in either one, and neither one's gonna be doing the same thing. But you guys stick around and watch the channel. You'll watch it grow, because I've seen guys on YouTube grow their business, and I love business, and I'm like, well, hey, you know, let's see if we can do the same. I don't see why, there's nothing stopping me. So that's the reason why I didn't buy a $40,000 or $50,000 truck, and I'm running this, because say I bought a $50,000 Ford, I saved 45, we'll just round up to 5 in this. I saved myself $45,000, and I could have bought 2 semis or a couple in-frames, or paid most of someone's salary for a year. You know, you got to think like that. So anyway, so that's the reason why we did this, long story short. So I hope you guys watched the video. The next video, I might put a couple others to break up the monotony of the truck, but the next video we'll go through and try to just do the rest of this and have a truck that's turnkey, cross-country ready, which pretty well seems like it is now. But I'm a perfectionist. I want this truck to be just as good as a truck that rolled off the lot. So anyway, I'm gonna go grab something to eat. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I do like the comments and stuff. Even though I don't respond, I do see them, and I do appreciate you guys taking the time. And this is me, you know, responding back to you. And if I can remember, I'll try to respond to individual ones in the video, especially going forward, because my schedule's gotten a little bit better where I can actually like pay attention to this now. So to upload a video and hope it uploads, and I'll check it every couple of days on its upload status. So anyway, guys, we'll catch you in the next video. Appreciate you guys watching.